Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next, and today I am back with another movie review. A couple of days ago I went to see the new movie Imaginary, and well, I wasn't too impressed. Considering it was a Blumhouse movie, usually you see the Blumhouse intro and something you know it's going to be a good movie, and I really had high expectations for this movie because of that, I guess. I've never really had any problems with any Blumhouse movies. They've always usually impressed me. Just a little FYI, there might be some spoilers in this, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, then skedaddle, get out of here, you. So yeah, me and my mom went to see Imaginary a couple of days ago. It was a late birthday present for me. We typically go and see a horror movie every time it's one of my birthdays, and she sent me this. I didn't even know it was out, and she said, do you want to go see this movie? And I said, yeah, sure. So we went. I literally forgot everything about the movie the moment I walked out of the theater. Like, I literally was talking to my mom about it. She said, honestly, if this was on TV, I probably would have turned it off. And I said, yeah, I agree. Considering I just watched it in the car on the way back, I said to her, I literally can't remember what any of that was about. It was just so unmemorable to me. There's movies that just capture you, like, for example, Megan. That was a really good movie, in my opinion. Although it wasn't scary, it was kind of funny in some parts because Megan herself was kind of funny. She was very sassy. She would do, like, dance scenes, and she came across as just kind of funny, like a funny little goofball. And I feel like with this movie, what they tried to do is they tried to take a little piece of Megan. They probably saw how successful Megan was and was like, you know what, we're going to try and up the ante. We're going to try and do this again, but even better. And we're going to make it like a cross between Megan, Annabelle, and also that strawberry bear from Toy Story 3. What was his name again? I literally can't remember. The pink bear that, like, betrayed them all in the furnace. So I'll just run you through a little bit of the backstory. So Imaginary is a 2024 American supernatural horror film directed and produced by Jeff Wadlow and written by Wadlow, Greg Erb, and Jason Oremland. It is co-produced by Jason Blum through his Blumhouse Productions banner and Tower of Babble. Basically, what I can remember from the movie was it's about this bizarre family of a British guy who's dating this woman who's the stepmom of his two daughters, and she has like these recurring nightmares ever since she was a kid. She had like some problems with her dad, who appeared to be like mentally unwell to take care of her, so she's got a lot of trauma. She had an imaginary friend, which was like some kind of weird spider. I think it was like Sam the Spider or something like that. Can't remember the name of it, but she was an artist, so she would draw like a lot of things. Her husband, the dad, wasn't really in the movie that much. He was a musician, so he was traveling a lot, and so basically the whole movie just surrounded by the main character Jessica, who is played by DeWanda Wise, and her youngest stepdaughter, who is Alice, played by Pyper Braun, and then there's Taylor, who's her older stepdaughter, played by Taegen Burns. The dad is Max, and he is played by Payne. And then there's a neighbor who lives across the street from Jessica's. Like, Jessica and her husband moved back into her childhood home. And everything's still kind of the same as it was when she was last there, drawing on the walls and stuff like that. The neighbor who lives across the street is an old woman who remembers a lot about, like, Jessica and the troubles she had as a child. And I guess she comes across as a little bit like the Elise from Insidious of this movie. So I guess it's almost like an Insidious type of movie as well. It's like they tried to cross over literally like Annabelle, Insidious, a little bit of Toy Story, like I said, with the bear. What was his name? I'm just gonna call him Pinky the bear. Lonzo, that's it. Pinky the bear. How silly. And also like a little bit of Megan too, with its kind of goofiness. I would definitely say the movie had potential, but I felt like I couldn't connect or relate or anything to any of the characters. Like, I wasn't buying into the acting, and it wasn't necessarily the actor's fault. It was more the script. The script was so poorly written. It just felt so disconnected. And I guess maybe it was intentionally like that because of the stepmom trying to connect with the two daughters who didn't really want to connect with her, especially the eldest one. So while the dad's traveling, she's alone with the kids. And the oldest daughter doesn't want nothing to do with her, but the youngest one, she's kind of off in her own little doolally world, and she's like found this teddy bear, which is Chauncey the bear, and he is like, it's such a weird movie. Like, thinking back now, it's coming back to me now, and it's so bizarre. I kind of don't want to spoil it, but I will tell you, the bear didn't exist to begin with. Alice, the little girl, is seeing the bear the same way that Jessica is seeing the bear. It's just a hallucination. It's a figment of their imagination. Which is kind of where it got silly to me. I feel like it did kind of get silly toward the end. And then Gloria, the Elise of the movie, she kind of comes into this and she tells them all this stuff. Like, why would a neighbor care so much about that? Like, why would... She literally said in the movie, she's like, I've dedicated all of my life to researching what happened to you. Like, it's so kind of weird. Like, nobody would do that. Everyone's got their own lives to live. Nobody cares that much. But I just felt like it was so, like, I felt like I was watching more of, like, with the Gloria character. Although she was a good actor, I feel like the script was poor. Just wasn't very believable. They weren't talking like real humans. It was as if AI wrote the script. It just felt so insincere. It just felt like so, like a Scooby-Doo episode of anything. But I gotta say, the little girl, Alice, her performance was amazing. She had to, like, cry in one scene that I remember in particular, when she was, like, confronting the bear in front of a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist couldn't see the bear, but she didn't realize she was talking to a bear until later on, when she took a picture of her, and it came out then that the bear wasn't in the picture. And that's when Jess realized she's seeing it. Alice is seeing it, but nobody else is seeing it. That's when Jess realizes that her imagination is actually, like, opening this other realm, I guess. And her mind is, like, dangerous, and her dad tried to protect her from demons, and he wasn't actually insane. And she realizes that, and he's, like, in this mental hospital with blind eyes and everything now, and she goes and, like, reconciles with him and stuff like that. And it just kind of got so all over the place. It was, like, everywhere. It was like they were trying to experiment, I guess, but they were doing everything they could think of. It's literally like the saying, less is more. And I feel like in this situation, it would have been better if it was just a possessed bear. Yeah, it would have been copy and paste of literally every other horror movie. Something like a doll, or something's possessed, or something comes alive. But people like that. Nobody likes change. So when it comes to that, like, people are going to watch this and I feel like they're going to be very disappointed. At least I was. And I usually love horror movies. Like, I go into them very open-minded, but this really did feel like it was boring. Like, it got halfway through the movie and I was bored. I remember sitting watching it and I was just like this for the whole second half of the movie. I was like watching intensely, but I wasn't registering anything. It wasn't going in my noggin, you know what I mean? It was just not going in there. So when I came out, I was like, I literally don't remember what happened. I don't remember anything. It wasn't even like with Megan. Megan was funny. It was funny, and there was like its share of gore and horror and stuff in it too. And it had suspenseful scenes, it had intense scenes, and it had some unnerving scenes, and it had sad scenes. It had a little bit of everything, but it did it perfectly. It all balanced everything out. With this movie, like, this was a soup, and they just threw in the whole tub of every kind of spice and just made it too much. It's too much. It's ruined now. I feel like this movie was kind of like that. It was just a little, it's okay trying a little piece of everything, but when you put too much of everything in, it just ruins it. Especially when the script lacks any kind of human, like, natural human words and natural human thinking and stuff like that. Like, people don't behave like that in real life, I guess. And it just felt so unbelievable to me. It did have a part that was trying to be funny. It had, like, the next door neighbor boy who's a teenager trying to get the girl who lived there. She was like 15 or something, and they're hanging out, they're sitting on the couch. He's like, want to try a Molly? Pulls out a bag of pills. She's like, no thanks, I don't want to do that. He's like, okay, fine, you're lost. Whoa, I'm tripping. And, like, he's acting like he's tripping. But then he gets caught, and she gets caught too, and the mom is like, confronts the other mom, and she's like, they're not Molly, they're my allergy pills. So it kind of makes it seem like he's just a teenager that's using drugs to try to impress this girl next door, and it just wasn't really funny. Like, there was nothing amusing about that. Not just that scene, but, like, the movie in general. There was nothing that really came across as funny, and it had potential for that too because of the bear. Like, it's a goofy looking little teddy bear. The only person I would say their acting was, like, genuinely believable in this was the little girl Alice. She did a great job, but I think it's just because she did actually seem like what children seem the way they are, where adults, these people who were adults in the movie, they just weren't acting like normal adults. They were acting kind of bizarre. if you it's hard to explain, but if you get what I mean, they were acting as if they weren't real. They were acting like actors with a fake script. You could literally tell it was fake. It's so hard to explain because all movies are fake, but like when you're watching them and if it's a real good script and the acting is executed well, it just like, it feels so genuine. But in this case, it felt like just silly. It just felt silly to me. Yeah, I'm very disappointed. Out of 10, I guess I would give this probably like a 5, maybe a 6, but that's more because of the actual, like, the part when they go into her imagination later. It's like Insidious when they go to the further, except they go into the imagination, and it kind of looked a little bit like the back rooms. It was really crazy and weird in there. I guess that looked pretty cool, but that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I would have talked about it in more depth, but like I said, I've forgotten everything, and it was like 2 days ago. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you've seen the movie, let me know in the comment section what did you think. Smash a like on the video, and I'll see you right back here in the next one. Peace out and chase your dreams.